Hello, everyone. This is JD Calderon. This is Indy Comics Explained. And yet again, I brought another fantastic group of independent comic book creators. So please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, let everybody know we're here. And without further ado, I got this guy here.
What's up, Streamland? I am JD Rosario from Unstoppable Comics. Been making books since 2008, and I'm going to be hanging out with guys and maybe a lady, tonight. Maybe I
Possibly, she said she was having internet troubles.
Okay, okay. Who have been putting their money where their mouth is and making comic books.
Okay, cool. And you know, Jay,
what's up?
I don't normally do this.
Talk to me.
But I do like the hat.
Yeah, boy.
I do like the hat. I have to say that I do like the hat. Yeah. Okay, very nice, very nice.
Steve's all right. In a couple days.
That's right. And our co-host for the evening.
Nice. I'm honored to be the co-host. I'm Timothy Fling from Earth Dog Studios. I'm very upset that I did not receive Jay's note from last night until just a few moments ago, or I'd have been on that show also.
You could have been hanging with us, brother.
Yeah, man. Thanks for bringing me out right after Jay. I know he's the big celebrity on this show. So.
But I really appreciate the fact that you just took his spot. You said co-host.
Right.
Yeah. Not Coco.
There's no ego. There's no ego here, bro.
Here we go. That's it right there.
All right. There's no love. All love, Papa.
Hey, man. Seriously, thanks for having me on the show, JD. It's one of my favorite shows to be on.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'm the new co-host.
It's like the Beatles. It's like the Beatles. Everybody gets a piece.
That's it, man. We all get a shot, brother.
Everybody gets a shot at it. So, Larry, please introduce yourself.
I'm Larry. I write and create the comic book Niobe and Savage Sin. Currently on Kickstarter and currently available through orders in Preview Magazine. So check us out.
All right, cool.
Hello.
So, Rob, please introduce yourself.
Sure. Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, did you just want me to throw myself in there? What were you gonna say? No. I'm Rob Multari. I'm a creator and writer of Nightwolf and the spinoff series Snowpaw. I'm self-published through Lone Wolf Comics, and right now I have a Kickstarter for Snowpaw issues 1 through 3 live on Kickstarter.
Nice. We got.
How's it going? This is Jon Dexter, my first time on the show. I'm promoting my Alpha Dogs trade paperback that's currently on Kickstarter. It's got 11 days left. I also am the creator and writer of Dumpster Detective and soon to be released this summer, Space Cruising.
Nice. All right, cool. All right, gentlemen. I got a question for you guys. It's a show question, right? So, you know, we all know what the mainstream is going through right now. You know, it's always the same thing with them, right? It's like, you know, they have some great books, they have some terrible books, but it just doesn't seem like they're doing their jobs, you know, which is maintaining this industry, right? Like we see stores going out of business. It's not as big as it once was, right? And my question to you guys is, how can we as indie creators do it better? What can we do to help this industry grow, to move it in the right direction? As individuals, because that's all we are, right? Because we're not a collective, because too many egos in the kitchen. You know what I mean? So there you go. We'll start with Larry. What are your thoughts?
We're already doing it, dude. We've been doing it for the last few years.
It's a good answer.
Here's the thing, right? You can be very successful all on your own. You can be on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, GoFundMe, wherever it is that you're going to be, and do just fine. You got a decent product. You're going to have a decent following. You're going to at least be able to get your books out there, right? But to be in the mainstream, you got to be sold where mainstream comic books are sold if you want to even be a part in the sandbox, man. You know, so this goes, and you'll probably hear me bring up Antarctic Press a lot. But they are in shops. They've been around for 40 years. Tom Hutchinson, who's in the chat, his comic book Critter #1 just came out on shelves the other day, and Antarctic had to get a reorder of them. Nice. Okay, that's a good sign, you know. Niobe, my book, is available for pre-orders now and previews as well, right? So that's a whole new audience outside of the crowdfunding YouTube realm that's getting exposed to the books. Now, is it going to be an overnight change? No. man. But the more that we get out there, and I do believe it's a united front in the sense, because if we're underneath the same brand and the same label, now we have something that we're all fighting for, because the more successful that label becomes, and they've been quite successful, right? But I'm talking about now the next generation here. You know, Mary Machine Guns in there, Scott the Flock Wilson's in there, Nicholas Mueller with his Demon Winnie the Pooh book is in there, Timothy Fling, you're there. You know what I mean, right? JD, you're coming over. You know,
we're coming over.
They treated me pretty well. I'll give a quick shout out for Antarctic Press.
Sure, right?
They pay, and they're solid people.
So, I mean, we can build everyone's always, I remember like when I first got into comic books, and people would always talk about, let's go band together and form the next Image Comics. And everyone was going to put their publishing company together, get all their buddies together, and they were going to make this big dent in the industry. Well, sad to say, none of those ideas that I've ever seen for the last decade that people have talked about have ever come into fruition. Okay. What is true is, though, that there's a label looking for talent and books right now that we can help elevate, and them elevate us. That's my answer. So Rome wasn't built in a night, but I think we are making a turn in mainstream. I think a lot more of our books are hitting mainstream. Scout Comics, even though they're not paying people right now, supposedly, has put out Kickstarter books. You know what I mean? So I think that the two worlds are slowly starting to merge, and I think that's a good thing. And we'll see what happens. Maybe we don't make a dent, but you can't make a dent unless if you're there.
True enough. All right. Well, somebody I think took exception to what you said, so he showed up.
Yeah. let me tell you why Larry is completely wrong.
Well, this is like our show on a nightly basis.
Tom, I haven't seen you in ages.
I know, right?
How's the lake? You spent a lot of time cleaning it out today.
It's nice. It's nice now. Yeah, we're fishing and everything.
Nice. For anybody who doesn't know, Tom owns a lake out there in Michigan.
I don't know how we moved from walks around a lake to owns a lake, but it's.
I want to ride on the yacht.
Yes.
Wait a second, you got a yacht on your lake?
He's the big dog, dude.
Not yet. We don't do 100,000 campaigns, so not yet. No yacht yet.
Okay.
But it's coming. It's coming. Tom, real quick before I move to Rob, introduce yourself, please.
Tom Hutchison, Big Dog Inc., writer, publisher, art producer, Kickstarter builder. I do all the things for Big Dog Inc. except for the art. We have amazing artists that do a lot of great things. Nothing live right now, but we'll have the return of Critter and the Critterverse on April 6th.
All right, cool. So, Rob, what are your thoughts on the question?
I mean, as Larry said, that for the last couple of years, I've been saying too that we're in a golden age of indies, whereas the big two have been fallen to the wayside because of their garbage stories. I mean, I'm not afraid to say it, because I used to be religiously going to my local comic book store and buying it religiously, and then continuously being disappointed. And then I'm got to the point where I'm like, all right, now I'm a father. I have to deal with my money in a better way. I'm not going to waste it on garbage, and I'm going to go wipe my ass with, right? So that, that's, I think when it comes to the indie stuff, as long as you're getting yourself out there and you keep trying and you keep working and you start building your audience, there's always more than one way to put out a book. You have cons, you have Kickstarters, you have retailers, you have your own sites, you have Amazon, you have, all the little sites, if you can get your hands in everything, it's multiple streams of income coming and helping you to build your brand, build your audience up,
All right, cool. John, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, sure. Kind of go off of Larry and what Rob said. A lot of it has been the surge of Kickstarter comics is really because of the, poor quality of what's out there right now in the mainstream. I've heard that Kickstarter comics is kind of the fourth biggest publication right now of indie comics after Marvel, DC, and Image. So, and I think COVID helped a lot too, because, people couldn't send their stuff out there. Everybody was home. Everybody had money. So there's been a few reasons, I think, why Kickstarter has become kind of the go-to for us independent guys. So it's been growing I think it was growing. I mean, it was kind of big, then it kind of grew exponentially during COVID. So.
All right, cool. Tom, what do you think? Did you hear the question?
Sort of vaguely. I mean, I could wing it, but give me the full question.
Basically, what it is that we know that the big two are fumbling the ball, right?
Yeah.
So how can indie comics, guys like us, on an individual basis, we're not a big group, right? How can we as individuals try to push the market forward, try to make it bigger, try to expand it, improve it?
Yeah. I mean, I always get weird when we talk about the market, right? Because the market is not the market. The market is a big pie of various markets, and each one kind of has its own rules and regulations and how you want to grow it or try to grow it or move into it or whatever. So I would say, first of all, just like John was talking about with crowdfunding is it's the new. The reason it works is because we've found a group of people that are actively interested in what we do. And that's not necessarily the case in the retail portion of this pie. It's a much harder nut to crack to go into Diamond, Lunar, or whatever, get your stuff picked up by stores, and then have the store try and sell your stuff on the shelf. There's too many gateways, too many gatekeepers in the way between you and the customer. But with crowdfunding and Kickstarter in particular, there's an active monthly user base, and there's people on there that are just like, show me what you got, man. Like, show me what else there is out here. I don't care if it's Tom or Rob or Tim. Show me what you got. Now, we all, of course, have our own sort of followings that come to us when we say we've launched, here we are. But every time I do a campaign, because Kickstarter now will give you like the advanced analytics, and it'll tell you got 32 new people to you this campaign. So every time we do new campaigns, we're getting new people. And so I'm not doing any special marketing. There's no advertising for us. So people are just literally finding us however that is happening.
Well, but that advertising thing has now changed for you, Tom, right? Because now being in Antarctic, you do have advertising. You have advertising in previews, and you have advertising in other AP books.
Sure, but like I just said, that's advertising to people that's a harder nut to crack. I'm not discounting it at all. It's an entirely possible that the fact that AP had been talking about us and Critter for the last 6 months, that we got that little.
Well, I'm talking about going forward, bro. Like,
no, I understand. I understand 100%.
I'm an America book.
But what I'm saying is I don't actively advertise, right? Like, a lot of people do like Facebook ads, Google ads, whatever. Like, I don't do any of that stuff. The only thing I do is post to social media, which is primarily Facebook. And we have a sprinkling of stuff on like Twitter and Patreon and, other things. But we haven't really changed our advertising methodology in any capacity in years, and yet we still find growth without it. So crowdfunding works all by itself. If you then move into like what Larry's talking about, if you now move into, hey, we're also in the retail stores, like I'm with AP now. Now there's again another sprinkling of eyeballs that's going to find me there, and the hope is, of course, that you get the trickle down effect. Oh, what is this Critter book? I don't know what this is. Let me open it up. Oh, it's Tom Hutchinson. Oh, it's whatever.
It's top of the funnel.
That's the funnel. It's the top of the funnel. Let me see what this is. Trickle down. Oh, Tom does Kickstarters. Let's get our Kickstarters up. So it can all work together, but sort of each piece of the retail market pie kind of requires different things. But crowdfunding right now is the door that is blown wide open for anyone who wants to create a comic, because even if you wanted to make a comic and you didn't want to do crowdfunding, you still would have to produce the entire comic all the way through print, send it to Diamond. They have to approve it, get it into the previews magazine. Then the retailers have to see it. Then the retailers have to decide they want to buy it. How many? 1 copy, 2, 10. And then it has to reach a shelf where a customer then has to decide whether they want to buy it as it sits next to Spider-Man and Batman. It's a much harder sell that direction than to just go, whoosh, Kickstarter has an active user base. Let me start there.
True. Now, as a follow-up question, how is your TikTok market affecting your sales?
Well, you'll have to ask Jay about that, because he's doing all the dances. I'm not doing the dances yet.
Gotcha.
The truffle shuffle, baby.
Yeah,
That's
Jay is doing the dances.
Right. And should we even mention OnlyFans?
I mean, you can listen. There's a guy on one of our Facebook groups. I can't think. He posts kind of in the same one all the time. He put his superhero comic on OnlyFans. So
that's funny. Okay.
And it's not an adult book. It's just he just put it there, so that he can so that when he posts his links, like, hey, we got our thing. It's like he uses it sort of like a Patreon, and so he's like, hey, our thing is over here on OnlyFans, and so it catches attention because it's whatever at OnlyFans.com. So I don't know if it's working for him or not, but he tried something.
Right, that's funny. So Jay, what are your thoughts?
I said in the opening of the show, man, we're the people who are putting our money where our mouth is, right? We're the pioneer spirit for today. We're the ones that are experimenting with whether it's new paper stock, right? New tchotchkes to put into your campaigns, new artists, new collaborators to work with, new methods of delivery, new methods of promotion. I mean, you still don't see people doing live streams like this other than the indie comic stuff, right? On a regular basis. I think they're looking at us and trying to see what works. I remember hearing about McDonald's and Burger King, right? And let's just say, for argument's sake, McDonald's spends $1 million to test a new product. Burger King spends a third of that. They let them do all the work, figure all that stuff out, so that way they're not wasting their money. They're looking at us to make sure they don't waste their money to see what kind of product is going to be, trending in the market. I mean, everybody knows right now, Bad Girls are back, right? Bad Girls sell with independent stuff. And that hasn't sold, in the direct market like this since the 90s. But out here, it's flourishing. Are they going to start looking at this? I don't know. What other trends are they going to capitalize on? But they are definitely paying attention to us. A few weeks ago, I highlighted it. Jimmy Palmiotti said that there are a bunch of his mainstream creator friends that have been asking him about how to run a crowdfunding campaign, getting tips from him. I spoke to a couple of mainstream creators that said they're going to be launching soon, right? We've been doing this for how long? How long? Right? Rob, you got a ton under your belt. Tom, you do. Calderon, you do. I do. Right? Larry, you got a few. John, I'm not familiar with you yet, but, you're out here, you're grinding, bro. You're grinding. And you got mainstream creators who are, maybe I should make some of the money that these guys make. They're fucking
mainstream always moves slower than the indie guys. Always.
Always, man.
Even creators.
Yeah. And the best part about it is we're not making comic books. Whether you want to call this a hobby or not, we're running a fucking business. Right? We're running small scale businesses. And I said this last night. We're spinning a ton of motherfucking plates. We are. And we're making it work continually.
While working a full-time job.
While working a full-time fucking job, brother. Hell yeah.
You're out here grinding every day, walking around the lake, in the snow, uphill,
riding his yacht,
both ways.
Yeah. No, Rob, not just while working a full-time job, but while also raising a family, right?
Yeah.
Cultivating a relationship.
True, yeah. Yes.
All right. Not giving up and finding ways to make it fucking work. That's what we're doing. We're experimenting. We're putting our money where our goddamn mouths are.
Mm-hmm. Tim, what are your thoughts?
Well, I appreciate you letting me answer this question last. So you're guaranteed to have the correct answer. You ready for this?
Oh, Tim learns fast, man. Tim learns fast. I like this.
We kind of edged into the truth, and I'm going to, I recently went to this Comics Pro event in Pittsburgh, and we got to meet with some of the comic book store owners and retailers. And I really learned a lot. And one of the things was that crowdfunding is now considered one of the distribution methods of getting the book to the customer, even by the major people. Like, these guys don't even need the money, and they're entering the crowdfunding space. Well, why are they doing that? Because that's where the action is, right? They're finally realizing that. That's the first thing. The second thing, if you had asked me 5 years ago, like, hey, we were all trying to get our books into the previews catalog, right? and that was like the end all be all. Got to get into the previews. We're going to get into the comic book stores. I would say now that's kind of important. And I do still believe in what Tom said and Larry said, in the sense that that is now the marketing for the book. Like in my case now, you know, I don't have the yacht like Tom does, right? But like I got some books in comic book
You'll
stores.
get there, Tim. You'll get there.
Eventually, right? This is maybe next year. So, but my point is that I think that's one of the ways that readers could potentially discover me and follow me through my Kickstarters, which is really what I want anyway, because that's how I make more money. So it's just a different kind of, you're going to have to put money into something. So, you know, putting your money into trying to get into the previews catalog is probably a pretty good idea. It's probably as good as a Google ad is, in my opinion, but it's not the end all be all. It seems like increasingly, I mean, the flocks are coming to crowdfunding.
So, Timothy, we don't have VC money behind us. We don't have rich uncles. We don't have major corporate sponsors. Yet we're out here making it work.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm. I thought you did have a rich uncle.
I wish I had, you know, either a lake or multiple houses, you know, at least for storage. But I don't have any of that, right? I got you guys.
Next week, I'm going to start walking around my other lake.
Nice. See? Now he's going to have his summer lake. This is just his winter lake.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I mean,
I will tell you though, Jay, like you said something. You don't know. Whoa.
Talk about Big Dog Inc.
I'll tell you, like you were talking about, are they watching us? Of course they're watching us about the bad girl stuff. There's proof. There's actually tangible proof. You can see that DC and Marvel specifically are allowing retailers to do more sexy versions of their characters for a retail exclusive, like a store exclusive. It may not be something that they're putting out like on their own through Diamond, but you know, you're getting sexy girl covers for the Huntress and Black Canary and whatever.
You ever have an
retail stores?
Art Germ recently just do a slew of like, what was it, like Catwoman covers that were pretty damn sexy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So they're looking at that and they're like, yeah, this clearly is fine, and as long as we can put some semblance of a firewall between us so that we're not producing it, even though we're producing it.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, we don't have our name, but we have our name.
Yeah, they can take that money and just, you know, kind of make it happen. So yeah, they're paying attention. They always are paying attention.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's well they can have our name as long as we have our sales too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like as long as they're making a buck off of it. And I think that has a lot to play into it, is that we to retailers have to prove that we can make the money, right? Because that ultimately that's what it all boils down to. We don't make the retailers money, we're not any good to them. We're not, you know, and I mean, and that's what we have to get down to. And the problem is, very nice. There you go.
Cover Previews magazine has bad girls on it. I mean, it's here, it's happening. You can fight it, you can be upset about it, or you can just roll with it and either be part of it or just do your own thing.
Right. And the thing is those covers are making money, and that's what it's about.
Yeah. And I always like to say, I don't think it's potentially it's not really a very new thing. Like there's always been sexy covers. It's not even really a comeback, is it? Like when was there not sexy covers?
Yeah.
There was in the 90s.
Well,
in 2014. I'll give them the education. In 2014, there was a cover released by a guy by the name of Milo Manera.
Oh, sure, I remember it. Yeah,
right. The Spider-Woman cover, right?
Sure.
So we had her rump in the air. Well, that caused a big sort of third wave feminism outcry. Okay, about, you know, sex appeal and objectification in comics, and this whole debate came up. And so both Marvel and DC really pulled back on that. Right. You see, you know, because back before that, it was Milo Manera and a shit ton of J. Scott Campbell and Frank Cho. And you know what I mean? Just all the guys that can really do sexy, they really dialed that back. Every now and then they'll spice it out, you know what I mean? And they'll test and see.
Sure.
But that's been going on for 10 years now. You know, this all goes back to like X-Men 97 and Rogue not looking as sexy as she did back in the day argument and all that sort of stuff.
We don't see as much of Adam Hughes as we used to. Right? Adam Hughes was the premier sexy girl artist. You know, and we don't. I mean, how many covers? I don't know if he's got just priced himself out of the market, You know,
but what we are
fun.
seeing is that they're slowly sort of coming back. The whole reason why I showed you that preview magazine cover is like, this is right on the magazine that you're giving to every retailer. Boom. You know what I mean? If you look at what Antarctic's doing right now, you know, JD brought it up. Bad Girls are back. They're pushing it. They call it the next generation of Bad Girls. They got me as the poster child. They got Tom. They got Max. They got Common America, Punchline from Matthew Weldon. You know what I mean? Like, and there's more coming. That's the thing. There's more coming. You know, I think we're just getting the ball, roll it with a push into comic books. And I think Kickstarter has a limited audience. I think people that go to Kickstarter know Kickstarter. When I look at my analytics, 60% of the backers are what we call power backers. That means these guys are coming to Kickstarter and buying multiple comics every month. This is just what it's like going to the comic book shop for them, right? When we're in comic book shops, Tom's book just had a reorder, maybe 2 reorders, right? So that is a whole new audience now that gets to check out Critter, right? And while we're not selling like Batman, we're still being present. You know, I walked in my comic book shop when Niobe was released and I was next to Batman. I took a picture of it. You know what I mean? And that's good. So people that come in for Batman, maybe they pick up what's beside it if it appeals to them, right? And maybe they'll come back for more. And the more we're there, the more visible we are and the slightly bigger we will grow day by day.
Yeah. And it was like I was saying, money. If we can prove that we can make money for the retailers, I think our situations will improve. All right.
They want to know
Tim.
that you could sell tickets.
Sure,
exactly. Man. That's it. Tim, you're up, sir. Seeing as you took Jay's spot.
Go ahead, baby.
What do you want, an answer or a question? What do you want?
Question, sir. Question.
All right. So we sort of loosely tied in the comic book experience with crowdfunding, right? So my question is, okay, first of all, you said the word that's got to be profitable for the store, right?
Of course.
So my question to you is this: short of just giving them the books, what can we do to make it more profitable for the store? And usually this takes the form of some kind of merch or something like, oh, you send a signed poster, or you do a signing at the store. So if you have that in your answer, give that too. But what can we do to make it more profitable for the store?
Fair enough. Rob, what are your thoughts?
I mean, you know, I think, you know, obviously 50% wholesale pricing, if you can afford that. I mean, really getting your books into retailers is more marketing in a sense, because really you're not making much off that $5 book, you know, if you're only selling to them for $2.50. So like what, you're making what, 50 cents on that?
They take all the risk, honestly, even at the $2.50, because the average customer doesn't necessarily walk into the shop looking for, like Larry said, they might discover it, which would be awesome. And you might even have like a raving fan, like somebody that works there going, hey man, you got to check out Rob's book. If you're lucky, you'll have that, right? But if not, you're just a square in a sea of what? 400 squares.
Yeah, I mean, I think also like educating them about your book, like, is a big step too. Like, you know, giving them, you know, a heads up, you know, kind of talking to them about the book, I think is a good, like a little bit of outreach, you know, to kind of really, you know, once they've read the book, once you've talked to them about the book, give them an idea and, you know, how to kind of also talk to the, you know, they obviously have people, they know their usuals, right? You know, the people who got the subscription boxes that they put their stuff in every week, right? So you figure, okay, they want the Bad Girls, you know, from Tom and Larry. They want, you know, oh, we got the werewolf guys for me. You know, they got the, you know, the superheroes for JD, and you know, I got the fantasy for, you know, JD and you know, and then you got the futuristic post-apocalyptic stuff. You know what I mean? It's like they know their crowd. They know who comes in. They know if it's a book perfect for their people, and you can talk them into it, they'll be able to do the same to their, you know, and sell your books for you.
Have you ever done, Rob, while we're on this subject, like you do retailer tiers in your Kickstarter, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. And would it be fair to say they're roughly based on that 50% number you just mentioned?
Yep.
Yeah, mine are too. And then the third part of the question is, do you ever do a custom cover, like presented by AA Comics or whatever?
I have offered before. I had no takers on a couple campaigns, so I dropped it. But I'm always open for that. Like, I mean, if anybody ever wants to do a custom cover, I always thought that the said that McDonald comic shop that always does like their like kilt branded things. I thought that would have been perfect for like a snowball book.
Yeah, exactly. Sure.
So I mean, I'm always open to doing custom covers for retailers. Just gotta work that out.
All right, good answer. Hey, I'm not sure if we lost JD, so we'll go around in a circle.
Yeah, I just sent them a message, find out what happened. Let's see.
All right,
let's keep it going. Bring out
go over to John. John, same question for you. So the first thing is, did you do a retailer tier in your Kickstarter?
Not on this one, the graphic novel. I've done them in the past, but I know I never had any takers, so I didn't bother with the new one. I probably should have for the graphic novel, but I did not. I sell a lot, mostly local comic book stores. Usually nobody outside like a 3-hour range, because it's really not profitable for me to ship my comics. So I go to comic shops and talk to them. But I've had my most success when I offer consignment, and it's 35% instead of 50%. Those bigger retailers for comic stores are more apt to take me because, nobody knows me from Adam. And I'll ask them if they'll put local creator, and I always sell a lot more whenever they put a little tab or something local there and do like 35% on the comics as a consignment.
Have you ever done a custom cover for one of your retailers, like Triple?
No. Like I said, I'm in about 9 comic book shops in my state of Michigan. So,
gotcha. Okay, good answer. Hey, we'll move over to Tom. Tom, same thing. I know you do the retailer tier.
Nope.
You don't?
Nope.
Okay, well, first tell us why that is.
Because I basically
because you hate comics.
For my Kickstarter career, for the most part, I had rejected the retail side of things, the retail market of things.
Right.
Everything that we did was designed to come through me. The funnel started here.
That part I get. Yeah.
And so we were redirecting all of our customer base to come back to us, to the source, right at the beginning. So now along the way, I've dealt with retail stores that wanted our stuff. A lot of comic shops were just like, well, we still want your books. And I'm like, I'll deal with you direct. That's no problem. What do you want? How many? Here's your, whatever. And they're like, yeah, cool. That's great. And so we still do that. We deal direct with a bunch of stores. And I've also done retail variant covers. Like if they just wanted their own cover, we've done that in the past as well, but it's all outside of Kickstarter. Kickstarter for me is very me to my consumer. And that's sort of the focal point. And then if retailers want more than that, then I can 100% hook that up.
Well, and that's the beauty of it. And I think you answered it exactly correct, Tom. And the sense is that, by the way, this is one man's opinion. Feel free to correct me. But I have lost money on every single one of my retailer tier packages to the level that I have said to myself, if it's about the numbers, which we can agree it is to a certain extent, right? Like the number of stores that you're in, it increases your percentage of whatever the next level is. Okay. Sure. So let's say we agree with that. But the thing is, to get into all the stores, the price point has to be almost zero to accept the store to take the risk of trying it out.
Yeah.
So you have to determine for yourself what you're comfortable spending. Because, you might spend, $2,000 to advertise your Kickstarter. You might spend $3,000 on, digital media. Well, would you be comfortable spending $5,000? This is a hypothetical question. Let's ask it to the group. Would you be comfortable spending $5,000?
I want to answer the original question first.
Oh, okay, knock yourself out.
Well, the thing is we're already doing that, right? Like, I think the problem is that I'm seeing right now is limited mindset of having to do it yourself to be in stores. No, man, you don't have to do that. I mean, look, in the stores through a third party, am I getting as big of a cut? No, but the larger this grows, the more of a cut I will get. I'm in it for the long game, man. You know what I'm saying? The long game, right? And this is how you get out. You got to be, in my opinion, to really compete in the market, which is what this is all about, right? How do we answer Marvel and DC? Well, you got to be where Marvel and DC are sold, dudes. And that's to me, that's the bottom line, man. We're already doing it.
Okay. Tim, what was the original question again? We lost you. Now we got Calderon back.
Yeah,
I'm back, but Tim froze.
He was asking basically like what how do we within selling to the retail space, like how do we help them sell more? How do we make all that?
How do we
awareness
make
for ourselves? Yeah,
More
yeah.
Okay.
Well, how
So-
you make it profitable for them is to get them to get it through Diamond.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
Let me answer this question from somebody who worked as a vendor, as a distributor in a different market. All right, I just sell beer in New York City, and one of the things we used to do was offer one free case with every 10 cases that are bought. Right, so now that gives them the opportunity to gain margin. Right, you're getting a free one, so your cost per unit has gone down. That's how things become more profitable for them. So imagine that now. So you do 1 for 10 or you do 5 for 30. Now, for us, we're utilizing, if we're in the shops, we're utilizing offset printing. And we're not printing on demand, right? Our cost per unit structure has changed drastically. You're looking at anywhere between 70 cents to $1, depending on how many units you're purchasing, right? In that offset print run. That money's already been spent for you. So it doesn't matter whether you're moving 10 or 11 units because it's already there, right? You want to recoup those expenses in the long run. Where does that help out to our fellow creators? Well, with what Larry and what Tom are doing, now there's 11 units. There's one extra chance for somebody else to pick up this book to find out about somebody else's book. All right. And that all came from the fact that we offered a break, a discount, an incentive for them to order more units. How does that help us? Shit, we moved this many units that month. Now we can grow, right? Growth in the retail area for us wants to come from 12 to 15% increase, whether it's by the quarter or by the year. You can track those numbers. That's easy. But it all comes down to you incentivizing the retailers to get more units.
Well, you say incentivizing as if it was easy. In fact, you kind of suggested that.
I know it's
not. Yeah, like one free issue. I really don't think, and if you're determining it like issue by issue, I don't think one free one's gonna.
Okay,
well, let me tell you how we did it, because we did do the one issue.
Let me finish this off, Tom. Hold on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me utilize the Antarctic Press model for a second, right? Okay. He's got a number of books. What's to say that 30 and 5 can't be mix and match throughout their entire line?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It doesn't have to be for one specific book. So now they're not putting that whole risk in, I got to move 30 units, right? Of critter number 1. Shit. Oh, you know what? They can get 10 units of critter number 1, right? 10 credits of Niobe, 10 credits of common.
I see what you're saying.
And then mix and match. So now those 5 free could be coming from any other of the titles in their catalog. So the rest of the team is benefiting from what's going on with the other sales. That's a totally different mindset than what we are used to in direct-to-consumer crowdfunding.
Yeah. So what we did a few times was we did that. We did the incentivizing. We did the incentive covers, right? So the incentive is you buy so many and you get a bonus cover. So we did that, but we didn't make it really high. We made it like 10 copies. So it was like buy 10 copies of Legend of Oz, right? And then one of those 10 copies will be the Eric Basildua variant cover, right? So not only are they getting now their regular copies, but they're getting something that is now 1 in 10. So instead of having a $5 retail price, they can throw 20 or 30 bucks on it and pretty much sell that one unit and pay for almost everything that they bought just off that one book. Now there's extra cost in that for us, of course, because we have to pay for the extra cover and so on. But there was definitely a success rate there for sure. And I know that from working with Aspen used to do the same thing, but what they would do is once you reached the threshold, 1 in 10, 1 in 20, whatever it is, it's not that you got one copy, it's that it then opened up the ability to buy those extra copies, as many as you wanted, at a wholesale price. So it's not like you're stuck with 20 copies of a book and you have one that you can sell, So there are ways to do incentivizing in all kinds of Tetris machinations.
Yeah, we know.
I mean,
we got to sell to the core. Oh, I'm sorry, get Calderon.
Well, I was just saying that's interesting. Like how open-minded was Diamond to that? I mean,
they were perfectly fine with it. All we had to do was make sure that because of the way that their system works, because we had A/B covers, right? Mm-hmm. So when since Diamond wouldn't let us separate them, like sell individually, because they're dumb. They were like, well, if you're going to have AB covers, they have to come to us sorted AB, so that when their people were pulling books, they were just counting books and not looking for covers, right? So what they said was, that's fine, you can do that. We just need them coming in packs of 10, and then the 10th book is that extra cover. Like, it has to be in that pack of 10, because that way, if someone orders 10, we just grab a pack and we send it off to them. But they were fine with it. They were just like, this is just how it has to be.
All right, cool. Tim, you had a follow-up question.
Yeah, my thing was, the hard part is actually to get into the stores, right? So, and by the way, I'm grateful for the fine folks at Antarctic. And like, I do think it's a smart move, and I think it's a good deal for all creators, right?
Mm-hmm.
But really what we're trying to do is funnel them back to our stuff. So if you look at it like an advertising expense, how much would you be willing to put into it to get the return? And here's where I'm going to. Would you spend $5,000, let's say, to pick a number, to get your book placed in, let's say, 300 comic book stores across the US? And of course, it still has to sell however it sells once it gets there. That's just to sort of get you in the door, let's say.
Nice. John, let's start with John. What are your thoughts on that one? You're muted.
Sorry, I coughed, so I had to mute me. Yeah, I'm a really small publisher, so yeah, I don't know how much budget I really have to do something like that. Probably not much, but because I've been doing the Kickstarter route since 2021. This is my 8th campaign, so still growing. But yeah, I don't know how much I would be willing to give up for that. Probably not a whole lot, because that'd probably blow my whole budget with something too monumental.
Gotcha. Tom, what do you
Good answer. Good answer.
So I just need a clarification. Who am I paying $5,000 to, and where are my books going?
What I'm trying to do is make the example of how much money you could lose if you were placing the books in the stores yourself without any cost. And we're backing our way into that. That'd be 2,500 copies.
So you're talking about not using Diamond, like you're just talking about selling them straight to the stores without Kickstarter or anything?
I kind of wanted to hear what everybody said first, but there's some value in both. What I mean is, look at John said he's in 9 stores, something like that, which is pretty respectable. So if you're trying to get into 100 stores or 200, 300, there's some value in that, right? So what's the dollar value of it?
Well, there's value in being there, assuming that the stores that you're going into are going to push the book. And this is where you start to run into issues, because just being in a store doesn't mean anything.
Right.
All it means is that somebody decided to take a chance, which is great. We love that. But for all we know, oh, here's Critter number 1. Let me put it on the rack. Okay, that's their job done. That may be the end of their job, and Critter sits and rots because he doesn't point anybody in that direction. So, I think this is the advantage of Kickstarter, right? Crowdfunding, because if your book is already paid for and you have extra copies that you can just kind of be like, use them as marketing tools and get them into stores, because it's already sunk money. It's just out there. I think then if you were to come in and try and do, like Diamond on your own, you've already got the books for the most part. So there's not really a cost. But if you're going to have a situation where you're paying extra money to then, try and sell your book through Diamond or sell it direct to a store, either way, you're now chasing a lot more money. And I would never recommend that. I think that's the advantage to the model that is certainly coming into vogue right now. Crowdfund your book, get it paid for, take it to a publisher. They take it through their channels and their audience and their infrastructure. They deal with it. They send it to the stores, and you make a nice little, I don't even know how much it would be. Maybe you make $300 or $400. Who cares? It's all paid for material, and that's your marketing.
Right. You're still getting that marketing. And it's possible the marketing might be more important right there than the dollar value coming back.
Oh, 100%. Because if you're, again, it depends on where you're coming from. If you're coming from, I made a book with my own $5,000 and I have 10,000 copies sitting in a storage unit, that's a different attack than I have these 5,000 units that are already paid for because crowdfunding did it. And now I can move them around. Or even if you don't have extra units, the art is paid for, all my interiors are paid for, I can move that into a new system, AP, Image Comics, whatever. Look, guys, this is already done. I've got 6 issues finished. Take it, run a mini series, and just take that marketing, those eyeballs that get on you, and hopefully they'll backtrack to you as a creator. And then by then, maybe you have another crowdfunding campaign, and you might see a little pop.
Nice. Let's hear from the other guys too, as far as the dollar value of getting your books into the stores. Of course, sometimes it's a budgetary restriction, right? But say, Rob, would you pay a kind of fee, like a placement fee, let's just say it is, and the book still has to sell, as Tom mentioned, but would you think it'd be worth it to pay a fee to get your book into the stores?
$5,000? No, I could use that and make another book.
Good answer.
And quite frankly, I'd rather get another book out than that.
Yeah. And in fairness, you have the crowdfunding model. You got that locked down pretty well.
Yeah, I mean that's just it. Like for me, like the faster I can get my books out, in my opinion, the better. And if I have the $5,000 waiting to do something with, it's going to be putting another book out. You know what I mean? Like I'm just going to keep moving until I get through my story arcs. And then that gives me the potential that I could do something with AP or another publisher or whatever to be in. So really, what's the smart play? What's the better business decision? That's 5,000, get another book out, finish that story arc.
My turn. Mm-hmm. Can I go now? Yeah.
How about this?
Yeah.
A follow-up question.
Oh, well, hold on, Tim. I get the answer.
It's hard to tell who we.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't pay nothing. And I don't pay anything to have my books in stores, and yet they are still there. Do I get as big of a cut? No, right? Like if I had made individual deals with individual stores, and potentially I would get more money that way. Maybe if I had all those connections and that big web to get in all these retailers. But I think Tom nailed it, right? It's what what a lot of us refer to as the Brian Pulido method, to be honest with you, which is you crowdfund your book, you get it made, and then you take the work that you've already bought and paid for, and now you go with a publisher and you use their infrastructure to get that book out there. If you were to go to Diamond on your own, guess what? It's expensive. We've done the math. You're probably going broke. Not worth the hassle anyway. You want to chase down individual stores one by one, cold call them like a telemarketer, you can go ahead and do that. But that's probably a waste of time too.
Yeah, that's not time well spent.
Right. Get a publisher, and help that publisher grow. I mean, with AP, they've been around for 40 years. They've had lots of big licenses like Robotech come through their doors. They got Ninja High School, Gold Digger, the lineage, right? So they know the game. They've been there. They're not like someone that's come by like Action Lab Comics for a few years and then shut down. You know what I mean? Like,
listen, you're not wrong, Larry. I think you're 100% right. And I would add this too. Would you say that, let me think how I want to ask you this question. First, I always ask the questions about the process on the air. So if you're ever not comfortable answering, just say, hey, I don't want to.
I'm good with anything, bro. You lay it on me.
But my, in my publishing deal that I'm on, my sort of threshold, you might say, is 6,500 copies, by which it starts to get a better and better deal, right? But you see, for a guy at my level, I do not break the 6,500 copy barrier. Do you sell more than your? Do you know what I mean? Like if you sell X percentage, you get a percentage. In my case, it's 10%.
So AP's contracts works on a royalty system, and it's based on the amount of copies that you sell. Going off of memory, it starts at 12%.
Right.
And then it goes up to 20. This is a standard contract. Someone else, Tom might have a different contract. You know what I mean? AP is Antarctic Press. That's what AP is.
Right. Antarctic. Sorry.
So for me, when we did Niobe Origins #1, I was told that we did 2,500 copies. Okay. Which is a lot for Antarctic. It's a lot for a lot of these small press publishing companies. When we did the Kickstarter, we had 400 backers, right? So potentially 2,100 more people now are able to pick up the book because that's what comic book shops had ordered. Now, those people that pick up the book, maybe they like it. Guess what? Maybe the next thing they do is they say, hey, I want to add this to my pull list. Maybe they Google it up and they see that we have a Kickstarter running. Maybe they come over for that. You know what I mean? But either way, there are people out there that go to these shops have no idea what Kickstarter even is.
Right.
Right. That answer.
Is true.
Yeah, and the thing there, Tim, is it's I'm not even, for me, I didn't even go to AP because I thought I'd make money. It was completely irrelevant to me. To me, all I wanted were the eyeballs that were going to be put on the product.
Oh, well,
that
we're
was it.
4 away from 10 grand. We need a backer right meow.
You need $4.
I mean, in Canadian money, that's almost like 14 grand. It's all like I always get disappointed when I see the US dollar. I'm like, oh, it shrunk. You know?
Sorry about that. I apologize, guys. My internet, we had a bad storm out here last night, and my internet's been acting up all day. So yeah. So
Didn't
that's why
affect me. Didn't affect me.
Oh, well, okay. I mean, you also live out by the airport in the middle of nowhere.
Hey, no,
it's okay, JD. I just kept talking. Everyone was freezing up. I just babbled on. You know, it was good.
You know, I mean, you know, the price I pay for living close to civilization. You know,
this is it.
How dare you insult me like that?
It's not an insult, it's a fact. All right, sorry about that, guys. But Larry, talk to me. What do we got here? We got Niobe Outbreak, number 3. What's up?
3 out of 5. This is a 5-part miniseries. Initially 4, but I had to extend it to 5 just to fit the story that I wanted to tell. You're right in the action. You know, there's a virus that's spreading around Port Hope City, a fictional city where Niobe lives, and it's all caused by this woman named Vanessa Keats, who is a genome, which is mutants in my world, genetic anomalies. And this virus is my take on COVID, right? So, you know, for a couple of years, we all had to live underneath some strange rules and social constructs and this and that. What would it be like if that happened in the superhero world? So this virus will make you violently ill. It could kill you. And in some cases, it can activate the genome within you and make you a superpowered being. And so now we have all these new eruptions of superpowered beings all over the city because of this woman here in black. And they got to figure out what to do with them and how to handle this chaotic and crazy situation. You know, and we're right in the middle of it right now. So we got there's 11 covers. That our cover A is always by the interior artist. So that's Juan Antonio and Dan Olvera. So what you see on the cover is what you get on the insides. And then everything else is...
I dig that cover, bro. I like it.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing that we listen to, right? So in previous Niobe campaigns, not all of them, but some of them, a lot of them were pretty much pin-up-y, cheesecakey covers, right? Which I love. I mean, it's Bad Girl Comics. It's kind of what we do. But I did hear people say, oh, you know, like in passing, I wish I could see covers that told a story, you know what I mean? Or had actually something to do with the book. So this time around, we decided to include that, you know? Like, you want to see what's happening? We're going to give you some action here. You know what I mean? All these fights that you're seeing, they all go down in the book, you know?
Nice.
That's Fabio Simeo there. He's a superstar, man. He's the guy that's hard to lock down now. He's a superstar, you know?
Fabio's awesome.
That's Francesco Tomasi. He's known for his work with DC Comics, doing some Superman stuff, some Dynamite stuff. And he came to us and said, I want to do a cover for this thing. And I said, great, let's work out a deal.
Cool. That's great.
This here, of course, is Mr. Greg Bo Watson of Zenoscope fame. And colors is by Gwendolyn Delagote. I hope I said her name right. I had to practice that one.
Damn, you're not messing around here, brother. This is the dream team on covers.
This here is Keith Garvey, another Zenoscope legend. And there's a whole set of these. There's like part 1 just has Niobe. Part 2 has Niobe standing in the city with Catcall. Part 3 has Sybil. We already got his cover for part 4, so you'll have to see who the new character is that will be beside her next. This here's done by the legend, of course, Mr. Ben Dunn, the founder of Antarctic Press. I have the original of this on my wall, my bedroom. It's badass, and Dan really brought it to life with colors. And again, another storytelling.
How much to get it down off the wall, bro?
Probably a lot, because I have a hard time parting with the art and stuff, even though like I always got this stuff like, oh, I could probably put it on Kickstarter and make some bling, and I can't never let it go, dude. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. That's fair, bro. I know exactly what you mean.
Well, you know, here is a sexy shot. This here is done by Marcilio Souza, and it's a 3-part cover set. You know how we see one of the common criticisms that we get in the Bad Girl world, especially, is you guys got way too many not safe for work covers, and not safe for work is taking over Kickstarter, and I can't get a break because of not safe for work, and everything is tits and nude and blah 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 blah. So a lot of people would have like their nude covers. We don't do that. We've done it once. I didn't like it. I felt dirty doing it the first time, and I'm like, nope, we're done. So with this cover set, they do sort of strip down a little bit. Like, you know, as long as they got clothing, I'm fine. Go down a little bit, JD. So there we got cover B. Okay, now they're out for, you know, it's hot summer night, whatever. And then the next one you would assume would be like a nude variant. Now I changed that up. We're doing dresses.
Nice.
They get nice, sexy dresses for a night out on the town. You know what I mean?
Cool. They got their onesies on.
They got their onesies on, bro. You know, they're looking fab, man. And this here is by Jon Dexter, Image Comics alumni, known for his work on Teen Youngblood and Evangeline, Scarlet Crush, and so much more, man. So Jon Dexter, shout out to you, brother.
Very nice.
And that's the cover lineup. And then the rest of the sort of, as you scroll through, is just like digital combos and different sets that you can get. The Keith Garvey, all Ben Dunn's covers. We got a CGC book up for grabs. I only got one of those left. And then, yeah, you know, we'll show you some pages too. You know what I mean?
Cool.
So this is all done by Juan Antonio and Dan O'Vera. And we got some shots of some of our newer characters like Cinder and Sybil. You know, we show you the fight, a little bit of the fight between Cat Call and Vira. More battle. Like there's a huge like 12 to 14 page fight sequence in this book, right? Like it's badass.
Nice.
And we're unlocking stretch goals, man. So these are all in Canadian dollars. So we've unlocked the first 3, and we're working towards the bookmark next at 15 Canadian, which will probably be about 12,000 American. If we still got 5 days, and your last 3 days, folks, they're just as important as your first 3 days. That's when you're going to see an influx of backers. There's lots of backers who wait to the last minute. They're your followers on the Kickstarter. They'll get updates usually 48 hours before a campaign ends, and they're going to jump in and you know, up that conversion rate a little bit. You know, that card there is by Josh, the amazing animator. He drew that completely for free, just as something to do, and I liked it so much. And he said, well, you want to use it for something, go ahead. And I said, okay, cool, let's put it as a card that everyone will get if they back a physical book on the campaign. Cool. So everyone's going to get that card. And then there's add-ons, man. Add-ons galore. So if you missed out on Niobe, you're looking for a variant that maybe you didn't get a chance to grab on a previous Kickstarter, it's your first time sort of coming in, there's something here for everyone. All the relevant issues are there. Lots of great different variant covers to choose from. And, you know, our other properties too. Like we got Savage Sin, as you'll see as you go through it. We got the cosplay set from Greg Ball Watson. There's only 10 sets of those left. Niobe Penguina, that's the crossover I did with Mr. Ben Dunn. That was a lot of fun, part of the Superverse. You want to binge Niobe? We got Niobe the trade paperback, man, you guys can pick up. And then you guys talked about fantasy comics. I do one too. It's called Savage Sin. It's my love letter to all things like Red Sonja and Dungeons and Dragons and Tarna from Heavy Metal, sort of wrapped up in one. And we'll be working on number 2 of that. That's sort of like the next project, man. And yeah, and just some photos of people getting their loot and notes on the creative team and all the good stuff, man. Right, Niobe cool. Outbreak number 3. 5 days left. The time is now.
Time is now, definitely.
Spring ahead with Niobe.
Yeah. Well, you're still $4 away, bro. Hopefully, we'll make it happen before the end of the show.
Yeah, there's Yaira Winter, but there's also spring ahead Niobe. You know.
Yes, there you go. Very nice, very nice. All right. Oh, what the hell? Look at this. Jay, you're not the only one, bro. I need a producer too.
Tell me, brother. I feel your pain. I always say to my guys, feel free to start talking if I'm quiet for a minute, because that means I'm trying to find a file or something. So, hey, I do have a question, a follow-up question to the previous one. Is it overbearing if I'm doing this?
Hold on. We want to get through the campaigns, and then we're gonna start talking, because you know we got some awesome books here.
Okay.
All right. Rob, do you want me to play this video?
Yeah, sure. Right. Let myself do my talking without me having to do any more work for it.
Just give me a second. Like I said, everything is.
The producer on this show is so shitty, man.
Yeah. Just like the producers from last night's show.
Hey, at least they weren't drunk last night.
That producer sucked.
They weren't hammered last night.
You know.
19th century Scotland, a fierce heroine with an adventurous spirit nearly gives in to the social expectations of her time. But a trite fairy tale ending is not meant to be as Cyrilla McKinley discovers her werewolf lineage. Her eyes are open for the first time to the existence of supernatural beings and creatures of fantasy. Hi, I'm Robert A. Multari, the creator and writer of Snowpaw, and the hit series Nightwolf, as well as the founder of Lone Wolf Comics. While writing the Snowpaw series, I wanted to tell a story about a strong female character who my daughter and other girls reading comic books can look up to as a great role model. In April of 2016, I launched a failed Kickstarter campaign for my first series, Nightwolf. I didn't let that failed launch stop me, so I decided to raise the money on my own doing freelance web design jobs to pay for the artists. After self-publishing Nightwolf issues 1 and 2, I came back to Kickstarter in 2019. Since then, I have successfully overfunded 11 campaigns for Nightwolf issues 3 through 8, the Volume 1 trade paperback, 2 issues of Snowpaw, a Nightwolf Voodoo Doll plush toy, and the Wolfpack Pups Halloween board book. And that's all thanks to my amazing backers that I refer to as my Wolfpack. Now I stand ready to publish Snowpaw issue 3, and that's why I've come back to pay for the printing and the rewards that you will receive for backing this project. I'd like to personally thank you in advance for backing Snowpaw and joining the Wolfpack. I'm extremely grateful for where I am now as a self-publisher and continuing to serialize new comic books for you to enjoy. Again, thank you for taking this creative journey with me. I appreciate it so much. Aye, so what are you waiting for? Take this journey back with me to 19th century Scotland and join the Wolfpack today.
I like your kilt, sir.
Rob, you're the fucking man for doing something like that, Rob. Let me tell you.
Hey, you know what? Hey, I have no shame. Fat guy in the kilt.
You, mate. Fucking ballsy. Not one of the fucking many in this goddamn days.
I was ready for like Rowdy Piper to walk out or something, man. You know what I mean?
No, good shit. Good shit.
Thank you.
All right, so Rob, walk us through this.
Yeah, so this is the main cover for issue 3, and then it does the scrolling through the different covers. Apparently, it took a minute to load. But yeah, so I like to condense space and do these nice little scrolling GIFs.
You know, I always forget about that. You can put GIFs on Kickstarter, and I see your campaign. I'm like, God damn it, I got to start doing this. You know what I mean?
And it stops people from scrolling too. Like usually, like it'll like they'll be there, because something's moving,
Yeah, they're gonna want to see what's next. I get you. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have the previews as well here. Or you could read the first couple pages or a couple mixed pages from each issue in the series. That way you can kind of get an idea of it, kind of like flipping through the book in a retail store, if you like it and want to check it out and get the, find out more about it. We have great catch-up tiers. You can get it digitally and physically. We have different, bundles for the variant covers as well. And then my art team is Mog Park is the illustrator and Bruno Costa is the colorist. Our letterer is Dave Lentz, who basically does everybody's covers or comics on Kickstarter these days.
Very nice. Cool. So this is issue 3. How many more issues do you have in the series?
So for this story arc, there's 4. I'm planning to make it ongoing for as long as it's popular, I guess. But yeah, no, I originally did this one as a 4-part series just to kind of like dip my toes in with it since it is a spinoff. And with Nightwolf is a 12-story arc. That one was a lot longer, and both series I plan on continuing on because my Wolfpack have been just eating them up.
Gotcha. Nice.
And yeah, we have the pictures of the people with their rewards and all the social media stuff as well. Wolfpack. You saw earlier there was that print by Daphne. Everybody who backs by the end of tomorrow night will get that either physically or digitally, depending on their reward tier. So that's a free bonus.
Cool. Very nice.
Rob, why a print and not like a trading card?
I do trading cards as other things. So I have milestones that are unlocked that are either die cut stickers or trading cards. So that's other stuff.
I've been nervous with people in prints. Last few campaigns that I've backed that has had a print has just come unprotected in the.
Oh no, these are 5x7 prints. They go right in with the book.
Right. Okay, good.
Yeah, and you can get the 5x7 frames or like one of those multi frames. You could put them all up on the wall or whatever. Yeah, that's why I chose that size.
Yeah. Okay.
For multiple reasons.
I like that. I like that. Yeah.
Very nice. So I mean, so this is issue 3. When do you expect to have issue 4? Like, when do you have an idea? Do you have an idea of when the next one might come out?
I'm hoping between the next 6 months or so. That also depends on Mog's schedule, because she is highly in demand and pretty busy. She's also doing Kurt Zauer's Ruxy Vampire as well. So, and then they also got Bruna to do the coloring. So basically, my entire art team got ganked by Kurt.
Gotcha, guy. We got to find that guy.
Nah, I'm fine with Kurt. I like him. He's a good guy.
No. It's time to break some knees, kid.
I just got to make sure that I get the next script in before he gets his next script.
There you go.
There you go. All right. And we don't have to do knees, just big toes. That's all.
How many plushes do you have left over?
I think I got about I ordered 500. I think I have about 300 left.
Okay.
Gotcha. These are cool. So how do you do the mystery box?
Yeah, so the mystery boxes are basically what I do with them. I have mystery CGCs of Snowpaw going in the Snowpaw box with mystery copies of mystery variants of the issues 1 through 3, as well as random merchandise that go in. Usually it's roughly about a $200 value or more, and then here I'm selling them for just $150. The Lone Wolf Comics mystery box is basically issues 1 through 3 of Snowpaw, issues 1 through 8 of Nightwolf, and that's basically mystery variants, usually high-end ones, and mystery CGC of either Snowpaw or Nightwolf that you can get. That's usually like a $400 to $500 value, selling here as an add-on for $300.
Nice.
And then we have original art. That's one of the pages from issue 1 by Mog.
Cool.
And we have some traditional art that she did just for the campaign. So she gets the lion's share of those when they sell.
I got you.
Yeah, and then that's the Chris Williams variant cover. That's up for grabs as well, for that pencil drawing.
Very nice.
And then the team.
Who's this guy? Oh.
That's that ugly mug.
this Mog. All right, Bruna. Okay, cool.
I think so. I think from now on you should have your image wearing the kilt. I mean, it's the game changer, bro.
Just a big picture of me standing there.
Tom's got the cat ears. You can have the kilt. Everybody's got something, bro.
I got pigtails.
No, you don't.
Got the pigtail.
You barely have hair.
Shut up.
If you're gonna have Larry, if you're gonna have pigtails, you got to have pigtails.
As somebody mentioned earlier,
you got to grow the hair.
As always.
Nice. All right, so you got 3 days left. I mean, I think you made your goal. You're doing well. So I mean, you'll probably hit 15K by the end of it.
Yeah, I think so. With the last couple of days, that last push, we have one stretch goal unlocked. We're very close to the second one. So yeah, I think we'll probably be pretty well at the end.
Well, what's interesting is you don't see a lot of people put $10,000 as their goal, eh? Like, I had a friend there. He was launching his campaign. He put 6,850, and I'm like, "Oh, you sure you want to go that high?" But in your case, obviously, you've been around for a long, long time. You got a nice library of books rocking there, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I so ever since my first trade came out, I've been going with 10, just because one. That's where I know like a lot of my cost comes around between like the actual like the book production and printing and all the tchotchkes and stuff. At this point, I think I'm kind of like I know that's where I'm at. I know with my wolf pack, my audience is coming. That's not like, I'm already giving all the stuff out there, and I wanted to have like the stretch goals to be like, okay, now these are actual things that we can do and add and make the campaign bigger. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to start at like, 1,000 and then like, okay, now I have a stretch goal every 1,000 or every 2, you know what I mean? It's going to be like, I actually want it to be like true stretch goals that we can actually make cool things happen.
Now I know why you're wearing the kilt. Not to promote the book, but because your balls are so big, they don't hang in regular pants. That's why you're wearing the fucking kilt.
Nice. All right, so we're going to wolves to alpha dogs. Very nice. So, John, do you want me to play this video?
Yeah, go ahead. It's a pretty cool trailer.
Nice.
What program did you use to make that trailer?
Yeah, I love it.
I had my production team called Stones Tower Studios. They put together their trailer. I had done a cold call back in 2021 on Facebook, writers looking for artists, and they had answered the call, and their stuff was so much better than everybody else's that I jumped at the chance. They're in Argentina. They do the artwork, lettering, do my covers, most of them, and so yeah, they're fantastic. They're kind of
so Alpha, like it says here, you've done 8. You created 8 Kickstarters. So is
Yeah.
Alpha Dogs part of an ongoing series, or is this something brand new from you?
No, this is the trade. This is the collected 4 series. I'm sorry, 4 issues, and plus to incentivize backers that have already backed the 4 issues, I put an all new bonus story in there. So
Very nice.
yeah.
Cool.
So this is the first volume of it, and we had lived in this town that had outlawed pit bulls, and we had a pit bull mix ourselves. So we either had the choice to move or get rid of the dog, and so of course we moved. And a friend of mine a few years later had said, "Man, I just watched the Westminster Dog Show. You should," and he knew I wrote comic books. "You should write a comic book about dogs with superpowers." And at first I thought that's the stupidest idea I'd ever heard. And then I recalled the incident of us moving. And so that was kind of the genesis to create this character, Buck, who's feared by the public because of his breeding size, but actually has a huge heart. Him and his owner and this older, kind of grumpier pit bull are on the run for mercenaries that are attempting to kidnap the dogs to possess their powers. They can heal from any wound. They're smart enough to understand human speech, and they have a heightened strength.
Nice.
And then after living for years with their dogs on the run and living a very isolated life, lonely, their owner gets manipulated by this guy who's a fellow bioengineer to divulge the secrets of her dog's abilities. But Little does she know, he already knows of the dog's powers and has created this formula that once in possession of their dogs, he can create his own dogs with their own distinct powers.
What age range would you say this is for?
I would say 13 and onward. You know, it's a little graphic. Obviously, it opens up with the mystery of this dog, Buck, the main character, seemingly shot up on this beach, but there's no swearing, you know. I mean, maybe just like a few swear words, nothing graphic. But the worst part is, you know, the violence of the dog getting shot, but of course he can heal. So
can I be the bad influence sitting on your shoulder right now?
Sure.
I'm gonna, like you have the devil and the angel, right? Well, right now there's two devils on your shoulder, okay, and both of them are saying, "Have you ever considered submitting this for publication?"
Yeah, I do want to. I haven't, like I said, I've been writing since forever, and then in 2021 I wrote Alpha Dogs 1, barely got it funded. In 2002 I did issue 2, and then everything kind of took off. And last year is when I really started hitting Comic Cons. But yeah, I'm actually talking to a small publisher right now. I don't know what I want to do. I kind of wouldn't mind picking the brain of, you know, some people that are already established.
Okay. Well, I think, you know, you have a trade paperback, which means you have I'm assuming then a complete story arc, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, I've got 2 right now. I've got Dime Store Detective, which you can see as well. That's 8 issues in all. And that's a fantastic story too. It's totally different. It's a supernatural crime noir. But then this, which is going to be hopefully there's going to be about 6 volumes when it's all said and done.
Well, I can tell you from personal experience that if you want to submit to Antarctic, I guarantee you Ben Dunn would look at this and probably like it. They're looking for completed work, so at least a full story arc, which you have. Yeah. Right. So, you know, one of your options, and it doesn't have to be the only option, but one of your options is I would submit this over to Ben, see if they have an interest in this, and then you can get this also circulating on comic book shelves, my brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's definitely so. I mean, it's just me doing this, so it's kind of, it gets overwhelming.
It doesn't have to be anymore. That's the beautiful thing now, you know. Like we have so many resources now that I didn't have 10 years ago. You know, how do I write a script? Well, there was no YouTube shows talking about that. How do I put together a Kickstarter? There was no YouTube shows talking about that. There was none of that at that time, right? How to sort of pioneer into that stuff and look up everything online. Now we're in an age where we all can get together just like this, right? And start throwing out the ideas like, oh, that sounds cool, or that would work for me, or I like what you did on that Kickstarter. And it's just build, like Bob the Builder, you know?
Yeah.
Yo, Larry. So how much is Ben paying you?
I get 20% because we're selling that high. You know?
Nice. All right. I was just wondering. I was like, bro. Like,
no, because I think, like, you know, everyone's always talked about this collective. Like, let's be together and let's get a collective. Well, there is a collective building.
There is a collective. Yeah. No,
there is a collective building, and it's by people who know what they're doing. They've been doing this for a while now. So why not, if you have completed work, submit it in and try and get it on shelves? I mean, it doesn't have to be Antarctic. I'm biased because I'm with them. You know, there's a couple of guys on this panel that might even feel the same way, but at the same time, there's other options, but this is definitely an option, you know?
Yeah.
Because you got something that's looking pretty cool here, you know? Everyone talks about they want to see something different. You know, I've never seen a story on, you know, the sort of the stigma on pit bulls before, told through an eyes of a superhero pit bull, bro. It's something, the balls went from JD to you. Okay.
I've been a big fan of watching, you know, Rob and trying to do what I've actually emailed him, or messaged him a long time ago. He was very kind and he gave me a lot of pointers. So I've been new at this, but really watched some of these other guys that careers have just, you know, they don't really need a publisher.
They want something different. Well, here it is. You know what I mean? And it looks good. It looks cool, man. So I think you stand a really good
it's a very unique story. It's something that, you know, you're not going to find, I don't believe, 2 of on the shelf. And then, like I said, I already have my other series, Dime Store Detective, out there that you can get on this campaign as well.
There you go.
Very nice. Very nice. So, I mean, where are you at? You got what? I saw 10 days left.
Yeah, I've got 10 days left. I mean, it's
good.
Yeah, it's good. For the first time, it's a trade. So for the first time, I actually paid off the comic, which is the first of my 8 campaigns. Usually I'm way in the red, but I've had them all funded. But obviously, as everyone can attest, the funding goal isn't necessarily always what it, cost you. So, but it's definitely growing. Like I said, last year is when the first year I started going to cons, and I've already broke the first 2 cons that I've been to this year. I broke both of my records for all of last year, which granted comics as well. So
congrats.
Yeah, I remember actually listening to Rob talk a long time ago. He was at a comic con and he's sold 100 comics, and I just thought that was like, oh my God, I'd never come close to that. And this year, my first 2 cons, I sold 115 to 119. So I was pretty ecstatic about that when it seemed so unattainable last year.
Very cool. I want to give a quick shout out there to Rob. Way to be on that. You know what I mean? Finding another creator who's out there and just looking for, a light in the darkness, man. How many of us in the old days, were just got to get away from me, kid, type of responses, right? That's something else that we're doing that wasn't done before. And we don't have to carry you across the finish line. We can't carry you across the finish line, right? But we can at least point the direction, man.
Yeah, we could share our experiences and our tricks. Yeah.
Yeah, you were really kind. You wrote a long response to all the things you've done. You didn't know me from Adam, so I never got to say it in person, but I do appreciate it.
No, you're very welcome, man. I mean, I'm always open. I'm an open book, man. Like if anybody ever want to ask me anything or reach out to me, email me, I have no problem. Heck, do a video chat. Like
$12,000 from your funding campaign to that was a quick laugh.
All right. Let's see.
You got one more, baby.
Right.
You got one more.
I got 2 more.
Oh, I'm sorry. 2 more. I apologize.
All right. Let's see. Let's see if I can get it. So I'm, of course, screwing it up. So.
Oh my God, this guy.
Do I gotta play the Boomer soundtrack?
Bro. It's not screwed up like that. It's screwed up because my internet is.
This is the part where the guests got to fill in. We got to start talking because he's looking for
I thought I was doing that. I thought I was doing that by bringing up Rob and the nice words from Jon. That was the moment for him to hey.
There you go. Here we go. Earth Dog Studios. Tim.
Oh, that's me.
Yes.
Hey, I've always got something to promote. Right now, we are in the fulfillment stage of our trade paperback. That is the post-apocalyptic sci-fi graphic novel, Water Wars 2288. Came out.
Yeah, where's my copy?
Oh, well, I will have a proof. I should have the proofs this week. I actually talked to the Comics Wellspring people, and it ended up being 152 pages.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, and I think I could say with some humility, it's a really nice book. When you look at it, you'll go, oh, wow, they really spent some time on the production and design. And in my case, what we're doing is not too different than anybody else, but this books all do come with maps and music, which is kind of our thing. These are downloadable files. So if you like, as a matter of fact, I'll give a little bit of a shout out. I got a meeting tomorrow morning. We do these songwriting sessions, and then the songs become the soundtrack for the next Kickstarter. Tomorrow morning will be, well, what it's going to be is the theme song for Call of the Cryptid 2. So I'll be meeting those fellows at 9:30 tomorrow morning. I'm looking forward to that.
Cool.
I'm really into music lately. I guess I should be explaining a little more clearly. I'm actually a writer. That's actually kind of what I'm doing. But I get myself engrossed in making these theme songs, and I have a passion for it. And it's the part that we do that's a little different too. Like it's not me hiring somebody. Like we write these songs, and they're pretty good. If you hear them, you'll say, oh, it was actually pretty good. And they're downloadable, and it's a little bit of a bonus that you get for following our campaigns. Same thing, you can follow my website. That's earthdogstudios.com, and that's got a broad range of content. Most notably, I got the live feed on there for the Creative Cranium podcast, which is a podcast on Friday nights at 10 o'clock Eastern that helps creators learn how to do things. And man, a lot of the great folks in this room have been on that show. There you go there. We talk about all kind of crazy stuff on there. And honestly, I can't even believe that's happening. I'm kind of surprised by the whole thing. But life's a journey, man. You just go with it. So here we are, 55 episodes in, having represented something like 160 independent creators on that show.
Nice, nice. At least you keep count. If you would have asked me how many, I'd be like, I don't know.
Very cool.
Mine's pretty easy because I always try and book 4. And once you get past 40, there's 160. But people always drop out. So you just have to like notch backward. Then you get your number.
Yeah. Gotcha. All right, man. It looks awesome. I mean, so when do you expect your next campaign to drop?
Well, I have 2 this year. I'm not ready to reveal anything just yet, but you know, I always want to try things that are different. And this year is going to be the Water Wars trade is pretty much done. Although the stories stay in production, I'm not going to make another story for that this year. This year will be Call of the Cryptid 2. A lot of juice now is going into this Cryptid book. It was our most successful Kickstarter. It was 220 couple, whatever. So they said, hey, if we were a band and we came off stage and everybody was cheering, play another song like that one, you'd play another song like that one. So that's what we're doing with the Cryptid book. You're going to see number 2 come out, and it's going to come with, you know, a new star map. It's going to have a really wild sci-fi theme song. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then in November, it'll be the launch of the novel, which is the first full-length novel from Earth Dog Studios. That'll be November. I can't really say too much about that just yet, but the Kickstarter is approved.
All right, cool. All right, so here's my campaign is currently running another 25 days. We've already met our goal. We got 35 backers. We're, of course, looking to expand that number. This is Magi's Grace, a Lovecraftian horror fantasy. And we have Magi and Grace, 2 cryptid monster hunter fighters.
Which
and
one is Grace?
Excuse me?
Which one is Grace?
The lady.
Listen, you think that's a joke? We're in a new era. You know, I'm not here to
you know, I know you get confused, but you know. So yes, the lady is Grace. And then she's featured on most of these covers. These are okay. So this is a cover by C. Michael Lanning. This is the A1 cover, and it has her with this giant werewolf that they fight in the first issue. And then we have this cover is by Matt Lunsford. This is an homage cover to La Blue Girl number 3. And I explained this on Jay's show yesterday, and I think on Larry's show as well. This is actually La Blue Girl number 3 was actually the first comic that I ever did professionally. And what I mean by that is it's the first comic I ever actually got paid for to write for a publisher. So I figured, hey, you know, why not? Let's do an homage to ourselves. So I had Matt Lunsford, the original artist.
What year was that?
96.
Okay.
96, yeah. I worked professionally from 96 to 98. So yeah. So, you know, and it was good stuff. You know, it was a good living.
That's how you buy your other house.
No, well, it wasn't that good, but you know, it was all right though. You know, I had to, you know, I actually don't like writing for other people. Like I don't like pitching is what I don't like. I don't like doing. So it's why I never pursued a career professionally. So yeah, I have all these other covers: Pablo Verdugo Munoz, Lena Dye. Right, we have Elsie Freitas. You know, and unlike Larry, I don't have a problem with nudity. I don't, you know, we put these out there. Like I said, La Blue Girl was originally a XXX book, so I got into it very early on. So it's the sort of thing to me. It's like, whatever. You know, Narcelio Souza. We also have Joel Souza. And this is Johnny Segura.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I know who that is. I always liked his artwork.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to give Johnny a try. I mean, I've been talking to him back and forth, and for a while, I was like, you know what? Let me give him a shot. It's worked out. He sold a few covers, so it's all good. Then we have some pages by C. Michael Lanning. Show the interior of the book, some sexy fish ladies, some vampire stuff going on. This is all part of the plot that goes on. And this is the first issue of a 4-issue limited series. And that's pretty much it. And all right, let me stop this.
And when does this issue come out?
Hopefully third quarter this year.
Okay.
So that's what I'm looking for. And then I did these things, the coasters, and I will be dropping these in very, very randomly into everybody's pledge or whatever. So there we go. And then Larry, we got some good news for you. Carlos put you over.
All right.
Congrats, shout out to Carlos, man. Yeah, I noticed that we hit the $10,000 US mark, so appreciate that.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you, Carlos, for backing the book, man.
All right. So Jay, do you got a question?
No, let Timothy go. He had something chopping at the bit.
I do have one on the burner, and this is because it involves all the people in this room, because it's pretty much this weekend if you want to order books in time for Free Comic Book Day. So is anybody ordering a variant cover of their own book, like an 8-page or whatever page you do, as a handout for Free Comic Book Day?
No.
You're not doing it? Nobody's doing Free Comic Book Day?
But
I'm going to a shop and doing signings and selling books, but I'm not giving free.
And I have books that I will give away, but I'm not making anything special.
Yeah, my suggestion is, and because making these things is expensive and you're just giving them away, because I always want it, I always suggest to Ben in an AP is AP should do a Free Comic Book Day book. And the reason why they don't is the cost involved. But, if I was to do one, I would like to do it through them and have AP pump it out. And
yeah, hey, cool. Larry, that's exactly what I'm talking about with the deal that I tried to, I'm sure he would do it with you. It was, they paid for the first half of the cover run and it would have the logo of the store on it. And the store was going to pay to have their logo. And I provided the artwork, which I have lots of assets for artwork. So, I had something that had never been seen before. And it said AA Comics Presents. And it was like their logo. It was the comic store's logo. And what it was like an 8-page preview book. It was on high gloss paper and everything, but it was like a 99 center, you see. And we handed out, I guess it was going to be, it's 500 of them at a time. So real money, AP was in for $250, and I think the store actually put in 200.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it ended up being a good deal for everybody. Because again, what you're trying to do is get people to notice your books, right?
Yeah.
Did you get those offset printed? So I mean, because at 8 pages, not that expensive.
Well, I did this. This was 4 years ago now, but yeah, it was Comics Wellspring that did it. It was an 8-pager.
Gotcha.
They do offset printing now? No, they do offset.
No. It wasn't offset printing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was nicer. Put it this way: it was nicer than a flyer, but not quite a full comic.
Right. But I was just saying, you could have probably gotten a better deal out from an offset printer. Probably would have been like half the price, and you gotten double the books.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a topic for another night, right? I'm on the cusp of where I'm going to be starting to submit files for Chinese copies of the trade paperback. It's a whole nother world, right? You kind of have to do it to be competitive. Like the money from the Kickstarter funds the first wave of the. Yeah, look at that.
This was for a printer in Japan. Usually for my floppies, I do. Domestic, but I definitely had for like.
That's a die cut cover, motherfucker. That's nice.
And volume 2 is coming out in this spring.
That's nice. Hold that up again.
Yeah,
hold that up again. Calderon, give him a single on that, bro. Give him a single on that.
Come on,
producer. Hold on. Wait a second.
Talk amongst yourselves, guys. We're going to take a closer look at one of Rob Multari's.
Look at this guy.
Woo! There he is.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah, that is nice.
Good shit.
Yeah, so like I said, volume 2 of this is going to be coming out soon.
What I like is that their heads are just about the same size as yours. In the book. Yeah.
It's because it's fun to do this.
Hey, Rob, can I ask you this question? Did you come up with that design or did you submit to their in-house design?
No, so Carlos and I did all the design work. So he did the illustrations, I did the design. I came up with the idea. So each cover, like that battle scene that's on the front under the die cut, volume 2 will be on one side as a connecting cover, and then volume 3 on the other side as connecting. Basically, it's the good and bad wolves fighting each other, kind of coming in together in the middle.
That's very cool. And
then like the different werewolves will be in the die cut per volume.
The wrestling of the next 5 to 6 years is going to be the trade paperback market. Like I noticed all of us are moving into trades.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's just a great front-facing book on a shelf. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That should be on shelves, kid.
I'm hoping to do like a slipcase too, when all 3 are put them in a slipcase together. Okay. But yeah, if they want to put them together on the shelf, just all 3 out, it's going to be a gorgeous looking piece.
Now,
You had to
by
order
the way,
minimum
I
of-
want to say to the, I thought that was a very interesting question. I'm a little bit surprised that nobody's really, like, you're doing a signing at Free Comic Book Day, but you're not necessarily giving away a free comic though.
Oh,
I don't have
books,
the,
but I'm not making something new for that.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
I have extra books. When we do our Kickstarters, we overprint our basic A covers. So I've got, I can easily take 20 or 30 copies across our line and be like, here, take some books for the day.
That's
So,
where offset printing comes in.
Right.
You can do that, right? One of the things in business is cost of acquisition per customer. Right. They could spend up to 20 up to hundreds of dollars, right, to get your information. Wouldn't you rather spend 72 cents to $1 to get somebody to give you the email because you gave them a book for free? All right. How about another thing? You're doing a panel at a convention. You got offset printed books. You walk into the panel before it starts and you drop a copy in everybody's chair. So now when it comes time to you to speak, hey, you reference the book that everybody now has.
Right,
They
exactly.
can draw a correlation between what's in their hands to the person that's talking on the stage.
Well,
Sure.
wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't it be better to? Go ahead.
Jay's
go
about
ahead,
to
Tom.
say. Go ahead. No, you're going to say the same thing.
Yeah, I says, wouldn't it be better to steal Tom's idea? Drop a voucher on everybody's seat, make them go back to your table for that free book, so
I
you
like
can
that.
possibly sell
I
them
like
more
that
stuff.
too.
Yeah.
I like that too. There's nothing
Yeah,
wrong
you
with
tell
that.
everybody at your panel, come down to the Big Dog Ink booth and you all get a free copy. That way they're all hanging out at your booth for the next 30 minutes and you make it look like something's going on.
And other people, it will attract other people.
Yep.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And that's what it's all about. It's getting eyes on your product.
Mhm.
Look,
So,
oh my
Jay,
God, look at that. We're talking marketing strategies.
So Jay, your next question, bro.
I'm all right. Earlier today we were talking about you brought up, the $5,000
Buy-in.
concept, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
But by the way, again, I got to say, I'm astonished that nobody took that deal. Let me tell you why. Myself, as a comic book writer, I'm incredibly wealthy. I'm sure the same thing applies to most of you guys.
Only Tom. He's the only one with a lake.
Yeah.
I
go fishing with dollar bills, man. I mean, just
well then, Tom, you know what I'm saying. Money is ultimately meaningless. So, but I would say, if somebody said to you something like, I talked to Rob about this the other night because marketing is something I'm very interested in, and we all try different things at conventions to get our products noticed. And one of them is that the unconventional guy tends to stick out a little bit. And these are things like, and I know it sounds like I'm being corny, but like a billboard. Would any of you guys consider renting a space on a billboard for a month alongside a major highway?
I know people that have done it.
But, yeah, me too.
They couldn't even tell me if it mattered. Like they had no way to know what the ROI was.
Well, but now that's the thing that you scan with your
QR code.
Are you going to scan that while driving on the highway? Though?
Right.
Yeah, supposedly.
Are you moving fast enough or slow enough?
Yeah.
It's a nice
traffic, and I'm pretty sure people aren't awake yet.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to say you did, and it's cool to take pictures of it and be like, hey, look what we did.
Right. Sure.
I would never go near that. Never.
Well, and I'm just trying to give you an example of something unconventional.
And I totally agree. And the thing, and to even piggyback beyond that is when you're talking about product placement, like if someone's going to tell me, hey, Tom, $5,000, give me the product and I'm going to get you into X, Y, and Z places, right? It matters what X, Y, and Z places are. If you're going to tell me you're going to put me in Walmart and Michael's and Target or whatever, right? I have to understand where it's going, what's happening there. And if there's anyone at those X, Y, and Z places that are actually going to talk about the fact that my product is there, because it can just sit on a shelf and rot forever. I mean, that happened with Walmart. These meatballs that did an Indiegogo campaign that totally scammed their backers ended up taking $100,000, printing up I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of units, and actually taking their books to Walmart to get mass distribution across Walmart, and that stuff just sat and rotted because nobody cared.
They didn't know where it was being placed, so they couldn't push it. They couldn't say that it was on this aisle or that aisle, when it really should have been in either their book, their collectible, or their toy section, all right, which Walmart has in all of those, all right. Sometimes it was placed in the customer return section, right? And
well, that's my point. Is it has to go somewhere where it's being taken care of and curated, right? Even at my Walmart, though, it was right with all of the magazines and comics and shit that they already had. It was right there on an end cap with a big wire rack, and it was all sitting there. And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And then I kept coming back, and I'm like, "No one's buying this." Every copy is still there. Every copy is still there. Everybody, and then eventually it just went away after 2 issues. So it has to be going. So if you're going to pay to get in, if you're going to pay to play, as they say, it has to be going somewhere that's curated with people that are going to be, hey, we have Big Dog Ink. You need to see what this is.
I mean, I actually like. I have all those books. I actually like them. The only problem with those books is the price point. Is they're $5. Yeah. And I mean, when you're in a place like Walmart, they got to be like $2. Yeah. You know what I mean? That value has to be there for that parent. You know, they have to be bundled. You know, maybe if you got 4 books for $10, that might be something a parent might be willing to get their kid.
Yeah, but a parent's not going to buy something called Red Rooster and whatever else they had. That was the other problem. Is that's nothing that they had was going to appeal. The other one, no one's going to appeal to kids. It's not a kids. They're not kids brands.
But even when the image stuff was in Walmart, it was clamshelled. You know, it was two in the front and one sandwich in the middle.
Yeah,
but those guys, just like we talked about, right? Offset printing, they're overprinting that stuff by tens upon tens of thousands. Their unit cost is like a dime, so they can then just say, "Hey, let's take 3 copies and send them to Walmart and sell them for $4, and we make." If we make 50 cents a package, we're quadrupling our money,
Right. But those were special orders done through a broker.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That wasn't even Walmart or them reaching out to Walmart to do that.
Right.
You know, you had somebody who was in the game. He was in the distribution game.
Yeah.
So.
All right, cool.
Well, to circle back around on that, I wanted to I'm trying to put a number to it because I think we do agree that there's a number value on the marketing.
No, there isn't. There's no number to pay to play for comics.
Yeah, I have to agree with Tom.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Tim, I have something that I've been thinking up. I've talked to Jay about it. Tom's heard a little bit about it. Hopefully in the next couple of months, we'll do something, because what I want to do is I want to get information in the hands of fans, right? And I want to get it to them in a very economical way, right? So I want to get it to stores and I want to get it in the hands of fans, and it has to be the point of entry for retailers has to be next to nothing, all right? Because that's the only way they're going to even consider it, right? Because they're not going to spend any money on independent comics that they don't know, because truth be told, they don't know who we are. They don't care.
Right? How do you get eyes on product? How do you get eyes on product with the least amount of financial barrier to entry?
Exactly. So that's what I'm looking at now. It's going to be a physical thing that's going to be given away, hopefully to fans. Yeah, but here's the thing though, Larry. That those comics are fantastic, but it's only reaching so many people.
And not every store. The problem is that not every store even carries indies. And then among the stores that do carry indies, like for example, my store does not carry Antarctic Press except for my book. Now that doesn't mean that it won't shift that way if my book sells well, but it's not just a matter of indie publishers existing. It's something that has to be shoved in their face. And if you have, and basically what JD is trying to come up with is like a comic shop news, that little newspaper thing, right? Mm-hmm. But it would all be indie stuff.
It'd all be indie stuff.
Yeah. But you're talking about advertisement in general, right? So like, even if Antarctic isn't the biggest, someone say who goes in and buys Punchline 15. The best way to advertise comics to people that buy comics is Inside Comics. Someone's going to open up their book.
Sure, but you have to get somebody to buy the book first.
Right.
And so if they can, let's say somebody goes,
here's what I'm talking about, Larry. Here's what
I'm talking about. You can't make if they're going to buy the book, they're going to buy the book anyway. The point is to try and open up the eyes of more people, right? So let's say somebody goes into the comic book store and they're just sort of a normal guy, and they're like, hey, let me get my books, blah blah blah, and they come up to the front and there's a comic shop news, right? But it's not comic shop news; it's JD's indie thing, and he just takes one of those things home. Right, whatever he's going to call it, indie shop news. So he takes that thing home with his other books. While he's reading his other books, he goes, "Okay, let me see what this weird newspaper thing is. Oh, look, there's Niobe. Oh, look, there's Critter. Oh, look, there's like Oswald. Like, what are these things?" Then he can then go back to the store and go, "What are these things?" Tell me how to get these things.
Right.
Because it's free to the retailer and then it's free to the consumer to just
Someone
take
still
home
has to pay to
and
make
study.
and print this stuff. Like the reason why you don't really see comic shop news in a lot of places now is because people get their information online, dude. You know.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah, but you're not going to get information about AP if you're not looking for information about AP. This is the thing. The whole point is to put something. The whole point is to put something under their nose, almost without them knowing it, and then just be like, "Hey, here's the thing. Take it home and look at it."
Like, every time we're in Previews magazine, anytime someone walks by the shop,
dude. Very few people buy Previews magazine. Very few people buy Previews magazine.
Look, I've said this time and time again, dude. When Dinesh first brought back Valiant Comics, which arguably was top 10, right? Or when it came back from the ashes, he said 80% of their revenue came from 18% of the direct market. If we're saying that is 2,000 shops across the country, that means less than
400 stores. There's 360 stores.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, how many people noticed Walking Dead when it first came out? You know what I mean? And it took time for that to grow, and then it became what it is today.
They wanted to know why so many copies were being bought out there, and then they hyped onto it, bro. We had 4 volumes before they were selling in the 6 digits.
The idea is, even you want to advertise. You got to advertise in the products that people are buying, right? So you buy a comic book and you see an advertisement for another comic book. Like you read X-Men and go, "Oh,
sure."
shit,
But Walking
that
Dead
X
would have
Factor looks cool. I might go buy that now.
Walking Dead would have the advantage of being advertised in Spawn. We don't have that advantage. We're all advertising.
No, we have the advantage of being
things.
advertised in Common America, in Ninja High School, in Tomorrow Girl. In
Those
Critter.
books are not selling Spawn numbers.
No, give it time, brother. Like,
Well,
what
of
is
course,
this with
time,
overnight
of course,
success?
You're not. I'm not arguing with you about
I'm
time.
talking 10
I
to
totally
15
agree with
years
you.
of consistent publication.
I totally
through this
agree with you.
company.
But advertising in Common America doesn't matter if the store doesn't carry Common America.
Sure, but
okay. So how do you get somebody? So how do you get somebody?
Are going to come
wait a
in.
second. How do you get somebody to buy Common America in a store that doesn't buy Common America?
Because people are going to word of mouth. It's going to keep spreading it, dude. Eventually, someone's going to come in there and say, "I want Common America," or eventually they're going to.
So why not?
Hold on, not done yet.
No, wait. You're right. You're right. But let me take the next step. Why not start the word of mouth with what JD is talking about? You create the word of mouth on your own by what JD is talking about.
We do that every day. We go on a podcast every day.
No, that's not the same as being at a store in front of people's faces every single week as they go up to the cash register and be like, "Here's my books.
Well, to be
here's
honest
my money.
with you,
let me take this free item."
The publisher
That's a completely
needs to
different
take
thing.
More handle on that. They need to be providing newsletters. They need to be providing promotional posters to put up in shops. They need to be doing them. But they should be. But that's the answer. But that's the answer to your question, though.
But they don't. So we have to do it. That's the whole thing.
Right.
No,
Until
they don't.
do
So
it,
we should push
have
them
to
to do it. Is the answer.
How many publishers have the money to incorporate a point of sale budget?
Sometimes it takes money to make money, and we all know that by doing our own Kickstarter.
And that's why Larry's saying, or that's why JD is saying, yes, it'll cost some money. But if we get, let's say we get 20 dudes to do this newspaper, right? And we're printing it on just junky paper. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. And you get the unit cost way down and spread that across 20 people. Suddenly you have a viable.
Yeah, but then you got 20 chefs in the kitchen with 20 different problems and 20.
No, there's no
issues.
problems. It's all of us. Let's say right here, you've got, what do we have? 7 people. It's all of us. And you just say, this is what you get. You get a piece of the page, a little description of what your book is, and everybody gets that. We're not talking about making a magazine like Wizard and that kind of stuff. It's just simply, here's a promotional item of independent things that are available through wherever. And you can, and then where you can mention, hey, we're available through AP. Hey, we're available through whoever. And then they can go to the comic book store and say, hey, I want these books right here. Plus, you can also just put in, assuming this is a thought process. I don't know if you have this thought process, Jay, but you can also put in information for each of the individual creators so that you can find them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. That can go in there too. So that way, if the store just is like, fuck off, at least these guys that take the newspaper home have social media information to get it from us.
And could go to another store to pick up their stuff.
Sure, or another store. Sure, yeah.
Or even your Kickstarter.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Social media in the thing, identification of this is us, and this is how to find us. That makes sense. And then, of course, with Larry and me, like we're in AP, so it can say available through Antarctic Press. They go into the store. Hey, I saw this critter thing. Hey, I saw this Niobe thing. Order this for me. Done.
Having more outlets to promote the books is always a good thing.
Yeah. And the thing is, we're looking at like 10,000 units to start with. You know what I mean? That's 10,000 opportunities to get more buyers. Right. And that's all we're looking for.
And because we're all over the place, we can take regardless even of like comic shops, right? I can take these things to Comic Cons and just be like, here, take this thing, take this thing, take this thing. And we can stick it into Kickstarter things. If we're all doing Kickstarter, just slide it in there. Hey, you can get Kickstarters from these other guys too. So it's a really low level, easy. Yeah, it's a barrier. It's a really low barrier of entry for just a simple, basic advertising thing.
But how often are you going to do it? Are you going to be able to keep up with it? You know what I mean?
Well, and again, it's
and
not
then you have to
magazine,
juggle
right?
all the personalities. How come you didn't promote me in this and you promoted that? Like, I just see a big mess with this. Whenever I hear ideas, like
you don't
this
have to
come
do
up,
it,
Larry. Life is a mess, bro. Life is a mess.
Yeah.
I've been a manager with 60 to 70 coworkers. I've managed, people.
Yeah,
and
here's
trust
the thing.
me, I will manage.
Yeah, here's the thing.
That's the thing.
It doesn't even have to change, right? If you had, let's say you had 20 people, right? You don't even have to change anything. If you run out of your 10,000 copies, you can just literally print it again because nothing changes. Now, if you want to, you can go in and template out covers and stuff like, hey, here's a new cover or whatever, right? But technically, you don't have to change a thing because it's really just an advertisement for JD does Oswald, right? Larry does Niobe, Tom does Critter. That's the advertisement in the thing. So it would be very easy to change out covers and just be sort of up to date. But the whole point is just advertising what exists.
It's a 16-page plate. If you get 16 people to come in and buy one plate, it's $120 a pop. Right. Going back to Tim, do you want to spend $5,000 to pay to play, or do you want to spend $120?
Right.
You're asking me directly. My sense is the truth is closer to my answer than his. I think there is, in fact, a pay-to-play model. That's why every company does one. And you just have to find where your point.
You're not wrong, but I think in the context of what you're talking about, Tim, is that when those companies are paying to play, they're getting curated effort. You know what I mean? Like you can literally pay to be on the end caps of Walmart and so on. And then Walmart is curating, or the other side of that is that the companies actually send out people to make sure they actually have street teams to make sure that the stuff is set up right and all that kind of stuff. So we don't have all of that. No. But if we're going to be able to say, hey, look, we're going to advertise 20 people with a 10,000 unit thing and everybody pays a couple $100, that's a massive amount of reach across all of us, just sending out pamphlets through Kickstarter, putting them in comic book stores, taking them to Comic Cons. Like that's a gigantic amount of reach potentially. And if you only had to do it every 6 months, that's a pretty easy thing to swing.
I will just state for the record, JD knows this too. I'm pro team up. I advertise in my books now. I got 4 creators that I'm teamed up with.
Well, Larry and his buddies used to do that all the time, just on their own. But I'm prior to AP, you were doing it.
And
now you're with AP. Now when AP comes out, they advertise all the other.
Not only that, like
there's value in that for sure.
Even my own book outside of AP, we're now advertising AP in that book. Like we've gone that far. Cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, and I also I meant for conventions too. Like you guys know, I'm a little bit teamed up with David Daub, if you know him. He's a sort of a tireless indie promoter, a hell of a good guy. And without him, I wouldn't have got into, like say Boston, for example. Plus Dallas is on there. I wouldn't have got into Dallas because I have credits and stuff, and I have the AP credits, and I have more books out than some people do. But the cons are hard to get into as a guest.
Tim, just give me a moment. John has to jump off. So, John, before you go, please let everybody know where they can find you and your work, sir.
Yeah, so I'm on Kickstarter at if you just type in Alpha Dogs, or if you off this link or type in Jon Dexter, you can find me there. I'm on Facebook and at Real Alpha Dogs on Twitter, and Alpha_Dogs_comic on Instagram as well.
All right, cool. And it's also in the show notes. So I put the link in the show notes, so go check that book out. It's an awesome looking book. Thank you, John.
It was nice to meet everybody.
Good to meet you finally, John.
Yeah, talk to you too.
Take care. Bye.
Way to be good shit, John.
I like his book.
Yeah. He and I have been. I've known him for like a year, and every time there's a con or so it's good to finally cross paths with him. He probably thinks I'm avoiding him, but John, that's not the case. Just life happens,
Well, you finally met him, like you said. But yeah, I mean, it's one of these things where it's just like, look, I'm gonna talk to Ben, so I'm gonna see if I can get him in there. I mean, it's gonna be one of these things where it's gonna be
he'll
interesting.
jump right in.
Oh yeah, it's like I say, it's one of these things. I want to get a lot of people involved, but in the beginning, it's gonna be a small group. It's gonna be very curated, and you're right. There's gonna be some people. Oh, why didn't you promote me? Why did you promote me? Maybe in the next issue, right? It's gonna be one of these things. It's gonna take a little bit of time to build up steam, but eventually we want to give as many people voice as possible, and that's what it is. Because at the moment, as indie creators, the one biggest thing we have working against us is that we only work with ourselves, right? Larry's right. We do have to get together. You understand? That's why AP is so important, because they are pushing in that one direction as a group. But not everybody's working in that group, right? So you got those guys, you got Scout.
They're not my concern, though. That's kind of where I'm at with it, right? Like, I'm about one brand and building that one brand sort of only in with the team. What everyone else does, that's their business at that point, No,
I got you completely. But the thing is, it was like I told you the other night, I cast a much wider net, right? I catch a much wider net because, I'm in AP, but the thing is, maybe I'm going to want to be with Scout too. Maybe I'm going to want to be with Dark Horse if I can get in there. Right? Maybe I could be with Volt if I can get in there, right? So it just depends, where we're at, or maybe I'll just go out on my own, right? So it just depends. It depends what's going on.
There's a lot of people that just bounce around publisher to publisher. Hey, I got this idea.
Right.
I got this idea. Got this idea. Got this idea. They just bounce around all the time. But in your context of this little magazine, it's just if it's 16 pages, you find 16 people, and you put in a couple of covers, you put in social media information, and you're off to the races with 10,000 units spread across the country from everybody all over the place, handing these things out.
Exactly.
All for $1.20.
Yeah. Because the buying, believe it or not, to print those circulars, it's really not that expensive.
I would do it, man. I did on our last Kickstarter, the first time we did a indie creator advertisement, and it's a quarter. It's cool. It's a splash ad, like a house ad. And it's like the book, and it has their website or QR code, whatever they wanted to have. And it's got a little design integrity. It's pretty cool looking. And it includes this some recorded elements. So, and here's the thing, who the customer is. Who's it going to? It's going to be 1,000 copies, and it's going to be people that have purchased Indie Comics. So it's the right audience, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My point is, I would buy somebody I would probably buy an ad in one of Rob's books.
Rob's
I haven't done.
I mean, just think about the basic value.
Rob's like, tell me more.
Just think about the basic value of us sending 10,000 units of these things out to Kickstarter backers.
Yeah, I love the idea. I got to say, I love the idea.
I mean, that's an inundation of new eyeballs on things that they may have never even heard of.
Plus,
What's the buy-in? $120?
Yeah, that's
people
really
love free shit, right? Remember the stuff with Loot Crate? You probably never would have bought those socks that came in the box of the Loot Crate, but you're wearing them. You're wearing them.
Hey, there was a couple of cool comics that came in the Loot Crate.
There you go.
All right, gentlemen. This was awesome. We made it to hour 2. So here we are. Larry, where can they find you and your work, sir?
Under a rock, drunk somewhere. No.
Right.
And you just type in Niobe Comic in pretty much anything: Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. You're gonna find me, but find me on Kickstarter right now with 5 days left to go.
Nice. All right, cool. Rob, where can we find you and your work, sir?
Yeah, you can find me at lonewolfcomics.com. You can find me at Lone Wolf Comics, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find me personally at Rob Multari, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And hit up the Kickstarter. The short link to that is lonewolfcomics.com/snowpaw. That'll take you directly to that long ass Kickstarter link.
Gotcha. Tom, where can they find you and your work, sir?
Yeah, Big Dog Inc. We're pretty much all over the place, guys. We pretty much live on Facebook. Everything then drifts off to Twitter and Instagram and so on. Patreon. what's the dancing one that Jay does? TikTok. BDI Comics there. So, but yeah, you can pretty much find Big Dog Inc. BigDogInc.com is our web store. And April 6th is Critter number 23. That's the new stuff. And Antarctic Press is currently reprinting the entire run of Critter. Number 1 just came out last week. Number 2 will be out probably like end of April, early May.
It's actually being advertised number 3 in the next preview magazine.
Yeah, new previews that comes out this week. It's in there. Yeah, issue 3.
Oh, hey, here's a question I want to ask that comes up with the previews. Who actually is who? When was the last time any of you purchased the previews?
When Exciting Comics 17 came out, I bought the copy because I was in it. Outside of that, I never really bought them, but I always looked at them because I used to work part-time at the shop doing work for store credit. And every time the preview magazine would come through, I'd grab it and at least give it a peruse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I bought them every time we were in them back in the olden days, but that just became too much to have sitting around. So I don't even look at them anymore. Very rarely do I even look.
Gotcha. Rob?
My shop owner used to give them to me when I was in junior high and high school. Just for because back then that's when I had a huge box, everything I spent all my money on, any chore I ever did went to comics. So he used to just give me the previews so I could go through it.
Nice. When was the last time you saw actual previews?
College.
Right now.
Gotcha. All right, Jay.
This summer I was at Coliseum Comics in Orlando, and they gave me a copy for free.
So
I
June?
didn't buy it. They gave
June?
me. I showed you, right?
Yeah.
I think it had they were promoting the Met Cadet U on it because it was coming out from
Netflix.
Right? So I think what was that, May they gave me a free copy. I was like, oh, all right, cool.
All right, Timothy.
I used to be a Diamond employee, so I got them for free, and that was. I've got a whole stack of my. I'm like the other
one
guys
that
here.
screwed it all up over there.
Oh, here we go.
I was. It was all me. Hey, and I was a retailer too for a couple of years. Don't forget that.
Double dipping.
Yeah, I was double dipping. I come by it all honestly. Understand? It wasn't me that caused the collapse of the industry.
So you say, sir.
So you claim.
That's a great comment there.
But listen, I'm still. I didn't mean to sound like in some way antagonistic toward the previews catalog. I still believe that that's a part of it, and I think it's important. That is the way that we get into shops. And through our conversation, I think we learned that I'd even be more aggressive than most of you in the effort to try to get into comic stores nationally. Like to me, that would carry a price tag. And I wouldn't wonder if that was money well spent. I'd be sure that it was. So I'm going to stand by. I'll stand by my assessment on that one.
That's fair. I mean, I pick up the previews monthly, like a crackhead.
Yeah.
Seeking that next hit every month. I'm in my LCS. I'm in Midtown Comics. I'm picking that up every month, and I go through it religiously. I take 2 days. I sit down and I go through the whole thing. Anyway,
well, there's 3,300 comic stores. Is that what it is? Something like that, right?
Really?
And please let me know if I got that wrong. It's something like that. But let's say each one sold 10 copies. You wouldn't have to do that too many months in a row till you were having a pretty good lifestyle. You'd be attaining Tom Hutchison levels of yacht buying.
Oh, wait, you're buying multiple yachts now? How big is your?
Well, JD's got 2 boats or 2 houses, so I better have 2 boats.
Yeah.
Yes, I have at least 2 yachts. There you go.
I get to stay in the guest house, Tom.
You get to stay in the guest yacht.
House.
There you go.
You can stay in
The guest yacht. Yeah, there we go.
Yes.
I got to trade mine in. It doesn't even have a place to land my helicopter.
That's a disgrace.
So, Jay, where can they find you in your work, sir?
Not on a boat. I'll tell you that.
I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat.
Boats and house.
UnstoppableComics.com. You'll find all of my social media links on the website, unstoppablecomics.com.
All right, there you go. Mr. Timothy, where can they find you in your work, sir?
The best place to follow me, there's 2 ways. Of course, I'm on Facebook, and I try to put all the promotional type of things there if you'd like to follow my writing projects. But they also, YouTube has what they call a handle now. I'm at Timothy Fling. If you want to follow me on Facebook, and we talk to lots of cool creators about the things they're making over there and how they made them and why they made them. And the best part is I stole the idea of how to make the show. I stole it from this guy that I met who does this Sunday night podcast.
I wonder who that would be.
But yeah, thanks so much. And we're getting a little bit of support. And like I say, any creators that want to come on, man, you guys are all awesome. You're all welcome to come on. And the thing is that's going well is we all want to help the indie community. And I think I'm like most of us, we want to help and we're not sure what to do, right? So this is what we came up with to try and help each other. And video is an increasingly important form that we use to communicate with our backers and our followers. And it's how people discover the books that we're making. So the answer is in between somewhere, right? We've got to find some kind of blend between writing all the time and producing this endless stream of content. So that's what, yeah. So anyway, where I was going with that is come on over and follow us, subscribe on YouTube. My following is small, but they're pretty dedicated, and they seem to like to buy comics.
All right, cool. And I'm here most Sunday nights with Jay and others, and currently on Kickstarter. So go check it out for Magi's Grace. And just remember, everybody here, independent creator, awesome books, all of them creating great books. In the show notes, there are links. Click those links. Go buy those books. Go check them out. Incredible books. All of these creators deserve your support. So thank you so much. And don't forget, read more comics, especially ours. Have a great night, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Night.
Thanks, JD, man. It's the best.
No problem. I mean, one day I'll put up that card for Jay.